The great chamber of the Galactic Council stretched across 3 kilometers of polished stone and glowing crystal. Representatives from 47 different species sat in their designated sections, each area designed to accommodate their unique biological needs. The air shimmered with translation fields, converting thousands of different communication methods into something every species could understand. Ambassador Thelvix of the Kasiri sovereignty rose from his seat, his forearms spreading wide in a gesture of frustration. His crystalline skin reflected the chamber's lights, creating patterns that his species used to emphasize emotion. Right now, those patterns showed deep anger. 50 years, he said, his voice carrying across the massive space. 50 years since we made first contact with the humans. 50 years of silence and disrespect. Around the chamber, various species made sounds of agreement. Some clicked their mandibles, others hummed in low frequencies, and a few simply nodded their heads in the human fashion they had learned from other species. Thelvix continued, his voice growing stronger. We have sent 23 official summons, 157 diplomatic messages, 8 final warnings. And what do we receive in return? Nothing but automated responses saying they are busy. Council Speaker Morath, an elderly member of the Elysian Collective, tapped her staff against the floor. The sound echoed through the chamber, calling for order. Her people were among the oldest members of the council, having joined over 3,000 years ago. She had seen many species come before the council, some eager, some afraid, but never had she seen one simply ignore them. The humans are young, she said, her voice calm but firm. Perhaps they do not understand the importance of council membership. Do not understand? Thelvix's skin flashed bright red. They have faster than light travel. They have established 47 colony worlds. They have made peaceful contact with 16 other species. They understand perfectly well. They simply choose to ignore us. General Krell of the Vrexian Empire stood up, his massive form towering over most other representatives. The Vrexians were warriors, their entire culture built around military strength and honor. Krell's scales were marked with scars from countless battles, each one a story of victory. This is not just disrespect, Krell said, his voice a deep rumble. This is a threat. Every species in this galaxy must follow council law. The humans think they are special. They think they can do whatever they want. This cannot continue. Murmurs of agreement rippled through certain sections of the chamber. The military species nodded. The trading guilds looked worried. The peaceful species seemed uncertain. What do you propose? Speaker Morath asked. Action, Krell said simply. We send a fleet to human space. We make them understand that council law is not optional. If they will not come to us, we will go to them. War? A small voice chirped from the lower levels. Representative Pip of the Quellan spoke up, her tiny frame shaking slightly. Her species were peaceful traders, barely a meter tall with soft fur and large eyes. Surely we should try more diplomatic approaches first. We have tried diplomacy for 50 years, Thelvix snapped. The humans have made their choice clear. They view themselves as above council authority. Speaker Morath remained silent for a long moment, her ancient eyes studying the assembled representatives. She had led the council for 200 years, navigating countless disputes and crises. Something about this situation troubled her, though she could not identify what. Very well, she finally said. General Krell, you will prepare a compliance fleet. 300 ships. You will travel to human space and deliver one final summons. Make it clear that this is their last opportunity to join peacefully. Krell bowed his head, a gesture of acknowledgement. It will be done, Speaker. As the council session ended and representatives began to file out, Morath noticed something odd. Ambassador Irix of the Technological Guild approached her, his hover platform moving silently across the floor. The Yriks were beings of pure energy, contained within specially designed suits that allowed them to interact with physical matter. Speaker, may I have a moment? Irix asked. Of course. I have been studying human transmissions, Irix said quietly. Their public communications, their entertainment broadcasts, their scientific journals. Everything we can intercept. And they stopped 5 years ago. Not completely, but the volume decreased by 70%. The colony worlds went almost completely silent. The only signals we receive now are basic automated systems. Morath felt a chill run down her spine. What does that mean? I do not know, Irix admitted. But entire populations do not simply go quiet. Either something terrible has happened to them, or they are doing something they do not want us to see. Far beyond the Council's reach, in the depths of human space, something incredible was taking shape. In the darkness between stars, massive construction facilities floated in perfect formation. Each facility was the size of a small moon, covered in lights and crawling with worker drones and ships. Inside one facility, workers in zero-gravity suits moved with practiced efficiency. They were building something new, something that had never existed before. The ship taking form in the construction bay was beautiful and terrifying at once. Its hull was smooth and black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Strange patterns covered its surface, glowing with soft blue energy. Captain Marcus Rivera floated near the observation window, watching the construction. He had been a military officer in the old days before the transition. Now he was something more, something different. How many are complete? He asked. The voice that answered came from everywhere and nowhere at once. It was the facility's AI, but calling it just an AI was like calling an ocean just water. 7,412 vessels are operational. 2,588 are in final construction phases. Marcus nodded slowly. 10,000 ships, each one carrying technology that would seem like magic to the Galactic Council, each one crewed by humans who had become more than they once were. Have we heard from Earth? Admiral Chen reports the Council has authorized a compliance fleet. 300 Vrexian warships expected to reach Sol system in 42 days. Only 300. Marcus smiled. They really don't understand, do they? They cannot understand what they have not seen, the AI replied. The Council measures threats by known capabilities. We have shown them nothing. That's about to change, Marcus said. Send a message to the Admiral. Operation Revelation is approved. When the Vrexians arrive, we show them what humanity has become. Back in the Sol system, Earth looked peaceful from orbit. Cities glowed on the night side, ships moved between planets, and everything seemed normal. But appearances were deceiving. Most of humanity was gone, relocated to the construction facilities and the new worlds being built in secret. Those who remained were volunteers, maintaining the illusion of normalcy. They went to work, sent out automated signals, and waited. They all knew what was coming. The Galactic Council was sending its warriors to force humanity's compliance. What the Council did not know, could not know, was that humanity had spent 50 years preparing for this moment. While the Council argued and debated, humans had been working. They had united their entire species under one purpose. They had merged human creativity with artificial intelligence, creating something entirely new. They had developed technologies that the Council thought impossible, and now, finally, humanity was ready. The message had been sent decades ago when humanity first encountered the Council. We're busy. We'll get to you when we're ready. The Council thought it was arrogance. They thought it was ignorance. They thought humanity was simply too primitive to understand the importance of the Council. They were wrong. Humanity had not been ignoring the Council. They had been building, preparing, evolving. And in 42 days, when the Vrexian fleet arrived expecting to find a primitive species ready to submit, they would discover the truth. The humans were ready now, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. General Krell stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominant Fang, and watched the stars blur past. His fleet of 300 warships moved through faster than light space like a school of predators hunting prey. In 3 days, they would reach human space. In 4 days, the humans would learn to respect the Galactic Council. The general's second-in-command, Commander Vath, approached with a datapad. Sir, we are receiving the latest intelligence on human military capabilities. Krell took the pad and scrolled through the information. His expression did not change as he read. 12 battleships, 40 cruisers, perhaps 300 smaller vessels. Is this correct? Based on all observed human activity over the past 50 years, yes, sir. They have never shown anything larger or more advanced. Krell handed back the pad. Then this will be over quickly. Prepare the compliance protocols. When we arrive, we will position the fleet in orbit around their homeworld. They will have 6 hours to surrender and agree to Council terms. And if they refuse? They will not refuse, Krell said with absolute certainty. When they see 300 Vrexian warships above their planet, they will understand their situation. Humans may be stubborn, but they are not suicidal. 3 days later, the Vrexian fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. Krell immediately ordered a full sensor sweep of the area. What came back confused him. "Commander, where are the human defenses?" Vath checked his displays twice before responding. "Sir, there are no military vessels in sensor range. There are civilian ships moving between the planets, orbital stations around the third and fourth planets, but no warships." "None at all?" "None, sir." Krell felt something he rarely experienced in battle: uncertainty. This did not match any scenario his strategists had planned for. The humans knew the Council was coming. They had to know. Why were there no defenses? No preparations? "Perhaps they are hiding," Vath suggested. "Behind their moon or on the far side of the system." "Then we will find them," Krell decided. "Move the fleet toward the inner system. Full alert status. This may be a trap." The fleet advanced slowly, every ship scanning constantly for threats. They passed the outer planets, massive gas giants with rings and moons. Still nothing. They moved through the asteroid belt. Empty. Finally, they could see Earth itself. A blue and white marble hanging in the darkness. "Sir, we are detecting normal orbital traffic around Earth. Cargo ships, passenger transport, satellites, all civilian. What about military bases, underground installations?" "There are military facilities on the surface, but they show minimal activity. Nothing that could challenge us." Krell clenched his fists. This made no sense. The humans had to know they could not win a direct fight. Were they really going to surrender without even trying to defend themselves? "Open a communication channel to Earth," he ordered. "It is time to deliver our message." Before Vath could comply, every sensor on every ship in the fleet began screaming warnings. Something massive had just appeared behind them, not ahead where they were looking. "Behind them, report," Krell roared. "Sir, gravitational anomaly forming at coordinates." Vath's voice cut off as he stared at his display in disbelief. "Sir, there is a ship. A single ship. It appeared from faster-than-light travel directly behind our formation. Size: 3 kilometers long." "Sir, that cannot be right. That is larger than any ship in the Council fleets." Krell spun to face the main display. The image showed a vessel unlike anything he had ever seen. It was black as space itself, with smooth curves and strange patterns glowing blue along its hull. It looked almost alive, like some creature from the deep ocean rather than a machine built by hands. "Red alert. All ships prepare for combat. Target that vessel and..." A voice cut through every communication system on every ship. It was calm, female, and spoke in perfect Vrexian. "You were warned to wait. You chose poorly. This is General Krell of the Vrexian Empire acting under Council authority. Identify yourself immediately or we will open fire." "I am the Prometheus," the voice replied. "And you are leaving. Now." Krell laughed, a harsh sound like grinding metal. "1 ship against 300? Your confidence is impressive but foolish. Final warning. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." "I gave you a chance," the voice said, and there was something like sadness in it. What happened next would haunt Krell for the rest of his life. The human ship did not fire visible weapons. There were no missiles, no energy beams, no plasma charges. Instead, space itself seemed to twist around the Vrexian fleet. The first ships to go dark were on the outer edge of the formation. Their shields simply stopped working. Then their weapons. Then their engines. Within seconds they were floating dead in space, powerless. "Evasive maneuvers," Krell shouted. "Return fire." His ships tried. They really tried. But the Prometheus moved in ways that should not be possible. It was there, and then it was not, and then it was somewhere else. The Vrexian weapons fired at empty space while the human ship simply avoided every shot, as if it knew where they would fire before they did. More ships went dark. Dozens at once, then hundreds. The Prometheus was doing something to space-time itself, creating fields that disrupted every system the Vrexians had, and it was doing it without breaking a sweat. Krell's own ship shuddered as its shields failed. Emergency lights activated. Weapons status? Offline, sir. Engines offline. Life support is on emergency power only. Sir, whatever they are using, our technology cannot counter it. We are completely helpless. 17 minutes after the engagement began, every single ship in the Vrexian fleet was disabled. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just turned off like someone had flipped a switch. 300 warships reduced to 300 floating hulks. The Prometheus positioned itself directly in front of Krell's bridge viewport. This close, he could see details of its hull. The patterns were not random. They were mathematical equations, complex formulas that seemed to shift and change as he watched. "You were told to wait," the voice said again. "Humanity was not ready to meet the Council 50 years ago. We needed time to prepare. We needed time to become what we needed to be. You did not respect that request, so now you will learn a lesson. You cannot," Krell started. "We already have," the voice interrupted. "Your ships are disabled, but your crews are unharmed. Your life support will last for 72 hours. A Council rescue fleet will arrive in 60 hours. You will have plenty of time to think about what happened here." "The Council will send everything they have," Krell said through clenched teeth. "This is not over." "No," the voice agreed. "It is not. But it will not end the way you think. Go home, General. Tell your Council what you saw here. Tell them humanity is ready to talk now. But tell them we will talk as equals, not as subjects." The Prometheus began to move away. As it did, Krell saw something that made his blood run cold. Behind the massive ship, far in the distance, space rippled and shimmered. For just a moment, he saw hundreds of other ships just like it, waiting in some other dimension or hidden space. Then they were gone, and the Prometheus was gone, and Krell's fleet was alone in the silence. Commander Vath's voice was quiet. "Sir, what do we tell the Council?" Krell looked at the empty space where the human ship had been. He thought about his long military career, all the battles he had won, all the enemies he had defeated, and he realized that none of it had prepared him for this. "We tell them the truth," he finally said. "We tell them we were wrong about the humans. Very, very wrong." In the depths of space, far from prying eyes, Captain Marcus Rivera sat in the command chair of the Prometheus and allowed himself a small smile. "Status report? All Vrexian vessels disabled with 0 casualties on either side," the AI reported. "Fleet dispersal complete. All ships have returned to hidden space. And the message? Delivered. The Council will receive multiple reports of what happened here. They will also receive encrypted communications containing Admiral Chen's terms for negotiation." Marcus nodded. "Then we wait. The Council will either accept that they cannot force humanity's submission, or they will try again with a larger fleet. Probability calculation suggests a 73% chance of attempted military escalation. Then we will be ready," Marcus said. He looked at the stars outside his viewport. Beautiful and cold and infinite. Humanity had spent 50 years reaching for those stars, building something new, something amazing. And now the rest of the galaxy was about to discover what humans could accomplish when they worked together toward a common goal. The Vrexian fleet would limp home. They would tell their story, and the Galactic Council would have to make a choice. Accept humanity as equals or try to subjugate them by force. Either way, Marcus thought, the galaxy was about to change. The age of Council dominance was ending. A new age was beginning, and humanity was ready for it. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was the largest gathering in 300 years. Every species sent their highest representatives. The chamber was packed so full that some delegates had to watch from overflow rooms. Everyone wanted to hear what had happened to the Vrexian fleet. General Krell stood in the center of the chamber, and for the first time in his military career, he looked defeated. His scales had lost some of their luster. His shoulders were slightly hunched. When he spoke, his voice lacked its usual confidence. "The fleet was disabled in 17 minutes, he said, and silence fell over the entire chamber. 300 warships. Our best technology, our finest crews, and we could not even touch them." Ambassador Thelvix leaned forward, his crystalline skin showing patterns of disbelief. "How is that possible?" "You outnumbered them 300 to 1. "We did," Krell agreed, "but it did not matter. They have technology we have never seen before. They manipulated space-time itself to shut down our ships. No weapons fire, no explosions. They just turned us off like deactivating a machine." "One ship did this?" Representative Pip asked, her small voice barely audible. "One ship that we saw," Krell emphasized. "But I believe there are many more." The captain mentioned a fleet. "And at the end, just for a moment, I saw something. Hundreds of other vessels flickering in and out of sight like they existed in a different dimension." The chamber erupted in noise. Species argued in dozens of languages, their translation fields struggling to keep up. Some demanded immediate military action. Others called for caution. A few suggested surrender. Speaker Morath struck her staff against the floor repeatedly until order was restored. This is unprecedented. In 3,000 years of Council history, we have never encountered a species with such advanced technology. They have been hiding it, Thelvik said angrily. All this time, they pretended to be a young species while building weapons in secret. This is treachery. Or wisdom, a quiet voice said. Ambassador Erix's energy form flickered. We demanded they join us on our terms. We sent them summons and warnings and threatened them with military action. Perhaps they hid their strength because they knew we would react with fear and aggression. Are you defending them? Thelvik's skin flashed red. Before Erix could respond, every screen in the chamber activated simultaneously. The lights dimmed, and suddenly every delegate was looking at the same image. A human woman appeared on the screens. She wore a dark uniform with simple insignia. Her hair was pulled back severely from her face, and her eyes were calm but intense. "Good day, Council members," she said. "My name is Admiral Sarah Chen, and I represent the Terran Stellar Concordat. I apologize for interrupting your session, but I thought it was time we had a proper conversation." Speaker Morath's eyes widened. "This is a secured facility. How did you access our systems?" "The same way we have been accessing them for the past 40 years, Chen replied matter-of-factly. "Your security is adequate against known threats." "We are not a known threat. But do not worry. We have not stolen any secrets or caused any damage. We simply needed a way to contact you when the time was right." "The time is right now?" Krell asked, his voice hard. "Yes. General, I am sorry we had to disable your fleet." "Truly. But you came to our space with weapons ready, intending to force our compliance. We could not allow that. We also could not destroy your ships and kill your crews, so we chose a third option. We showed you that we are not helpless, and we let you go home safely." "Showed us?" Thelvik's voice rose. "You humiliated the Vrexian Empire. You have made a mockery of Council authority." "No," Chen said simply. "You did that yourselves when you assumed we were weak and could be bullied into submission. I am here to explain why we ignored your summons for 50 years. I think you deserve to know the truth." Speaker Morath gestured for silence. "Very well, Admiral, explain." Chen's expression became serious. "When we first made contact with the Council, we learned about your rules, your regulations, your requirements for membership. We studied your history, and we realized something important. If we joined the Council as we were, we would become just another minor species following rules made by others, with no real voice in our own future. All species must follow Council law," Thelvik stated. "Why?" Chen asked. "Because you are older? Because you have more ships? Those are not good reasons. They are just excuses for the powerful to control the weak. So we made a decision. We would not join the Council until we were strong enough to join as equals." "So you built weapons," Krell said. "We built everything," Chen corrected. "Over the past 50 years, humanity underwent what we call the transition. We united our entire species under one government. We merged human consciousness with artificial intelligence, creating a hybrid intelligence that is more than either alone. We developed new physics, new technologies, new ways of thinking about the universe itself." She paused, letting that sink in. "While you argued about protocol and territory, we were revolutionizing every aspect of our civilization. We did not do this to threaten you. We did it to ensure that when we finally met you, we would meet as partners, not subordinates." "Partners?" Pip asked nervously. "What does that mean?" Chen smiled slightly. "It means we are ready to join the Galactic Council, but on specific terms. First, Earth and all 47 human colony worlds will retain complete sovereignty. Council regulations that conflict with human rights and freedoms will not apply in our space." "Unacceptable," Thelvik said immediately. Chen continued as if he had not spoken. "Second, the Council will adopt democratic reforms. Every species will have an equal vote, regardless of how long they have been members or how large their territories are. The era of the old powers dominating everyone else is over." The chamber erupted again. Some species shouted in anger. Others looked thoughtful. The smaller species, the ones who had always been pushed around by the larger powers, whispered among themselves with what sounded like hope. "Third," Chen said, raising her voice slightly, "humanity will share certain technologies with the Council. Medical advances that can extend lifespans and cure diseases, terraforming methods that can make dead worlds habitable, energy systems that are clean and virtually unlimited. But we will share these things as gifts between equals, not as tribute from subordinates." "And if we refuse your terms?" Thelvik demanded. Chen's expression hardened. Then we remain separate. Humanity will continue to expand, to explore, to grow. We will trade with species who wish to trade with us. We will ally with those who wish to be our allies. But we will not bow to you. We will not accept second-class status in a galaxy that is large enough for everyone. You cannot stand against the entire council, Krell said. Can we not? General, you saw one ship. Would you like to see more? Chen tapped something off screen. The image changed. Every delegate gasped. The screens now showed a massive fleet in perfect formation. Hundreds of ships, thousands of ships, all identical to the one that had defeated the Vrexians. They hung in the darkness of space like a swarm of predators, their hulls absorbing light, their strange mathematical patterns glowing with power. This is 10,000 vessels, Chen said quietly, each one comparable to the Prometheus that disabled your fleet, General. Behind them are the construction facilities where we are building more. We can produce 100 new ships every month. And these are just our military vessels. We have colony ships, explorer vessels, cargo haulers, all with the same level of technology. The silence in the chamber was absolute. Every delegate stared at the image, understanding what it meant. The Council's combined military might was perhaps 15,000 ships, and those ships were spread across the entire galaxy, using older technology. The humans had built a fleet that could challenge the entire Council, and they had done it in secret in just 50 years. This is impossible, Yurik said, but there was awe in his voice rather than disbelief. No species advances this quickly. Humanity does, Chen said, because we are not just one species anymore. We are human and AI together. We are biological creativity merged with machine precision. We are something new, something the galaxy has never seen before, and we are offering to share what we have learned with all of you, if you are willing to treat us with respect. Speaker Morath was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked the question everyone was thinking. What if we vote to reject your terms and choose war? Chen's face showed genuine sadness. Then there will be war and many will die, and in the end humanity will still be free because you cannot defeat us. We are too advanced, too unified, too determined. But I truly hope you do not make that choice. I hope you see this as an opportunity rather than a threat. An opportunity? Thelvix laughed bitterly. You hack our systems, humiliate our military, make demands, and call it an opportunity? Yes, Chen said firmly, because we are offering you a chance to be better. The Council has stagnated. You follow traditions that are thousands of years old. You maintain power structures that benefit the few at the expense of the many. You could be so much more than you are. We want to help you become that. The Admiral stood from her chair. Behind her, the fleet image continued to display, a constant reminder of humanity's power. You have 7 days to decide. Meet us at these coordinates. Data appeared on every screen. We have constructed a neutral diplomatic station. Representatives from the 7 days after Admiral Chen's broadcast were chaos across the galaxy. The Galactic Council fractured into 3 distinct factions, each with different ideas about how to respond to humanity's ultimatum. The militarist faction met in secret on a Vrexian stronghold station. General Krell stood before holographic images of 11 other military commanders representing different species. His shame from the defeat still burned, but now it had transformed into determination. We cannot accept these terms, he said. If we allow one species to dictate conditions to the Council, others will follow. Our authority will collapse. Admiral Torvin of the Cassiri nodded agreement, her forearms gesturing emphatically. The humans have shown strength, yes, but strength can be overcome. We need numbers. Overwhelming force. How many ships can we muster? Asked General Thrax of the Korthan Empire. Krell pulled up a tactical display. Between our 12 species, we can assemble 2,000 warships within the 7-day deadline. If we delay 2 more weeks, we can have 5,000. We should wait, Thrax suggested. Build the largest force possible. No, Torvin disagreed. Delay shows weakness. We strike now with what we have. 2,000 ships against their 10,000. Those odds are not favorable, someone pointed out. Krell's expression darkened. I have analyzed the sensor data from my encounter with the Prometheus. The human ship was powerful, yes, but it was not invincible. It used massive amounts of energy to disable my fleet. I believe if we attack in coordinated waves, with ships willing to be disabled while others advance, we can overwhelm their defenses. You are talking about sacrificing ships, Thrax said slowly. I'm talking about winning, Krell replied. The Council has maintained order in this galaxy for thousands of years. The humans threaten that order. If we do not stop them now, everything we have built will fall apart. While the militarists planned war, the compromisers met on a neutral station near Council headquarters. This group included species from across the political spectrum, all searching for a middle path between submission and conflict. Ambassador Thelvix paced in front of the assembled delegates. The humans want democratic reforms. Perhaps we can offer partial reforms. Give them some of what they want while maintaining core council structures. What specifically would we offer? Asked Ambassador Drex of the Minari Union. Increased voting rights for newer member species. A human seat on the council executive board. Access to some human technologies in exchange for following certain council regulations. Not everything they demanded, but enough to show we are willing to negotiate. Representative Urix's energy form flickered thoughtfully. Do you truly believe they will accept partial measures? Admiral Chen was quite clear. Partnership or separation? Those were the only options she presented. She presented those options as an opening negotiating position, Thelvix argued. Nobody expects to get everything they demand in negotiations. We offer compromise. They accept something less than total victory. Everyone walks away satisfied. But Speaker Marath, who was attending the meeting as an observer, shook her head slowly. I do not think you understand the humans yet. This is not about negotiation tactics or diplomatic victories. This is about principle. They will not accept being treated as lesser members of the galactic community. Then what do you suggest? Thelvix asked, frustration clear in his voice. I suggest we listen to them, Morath said quietly. Consider what they are actually offering. This brought her to the third faction, the one she secretly supported. The acceptors were a smaller group, mostly younger species and those who had suffered under council regulations. They met openly, broadcasting their discussions for all to hear. Representative Pip stood before a gathering of 30 species. The humans are offering us something extraordinary. Medical technology that could add centuries to our lifespans. Terraforming that could give every species room to expand. Energy systems that would end resource scarcity. At the cost of our traditions, an older delegate argued. The council has maintained order through established hierarchies. Democratic reforms would destabilize everything. Destabilize for whom? A young delegate challenged. For the old powers who benefit from the current system? My species has been waiting 200 years for a trade route license that the Kasiri could approve tomorrow if they wished. We follow council law, pay our dues, and get nothing in return except more regulations. Perhaps destabilization is exactly what we need. The debate raged for hours, but Pip noticed a trend. The older species clung to tradition. The younger ones, the smaller ones, the ones who had always been on the bottom of the council hierarchy, they looked at the human offer with hope in their eyes. Meanwhile, humanity was not idle. Admiral Chen had not lied when she said they wanted partnership. While the council argued, human ships began appearing throughout the galaxy. A human medical vessel arrived at a plague-stricken colony on the rim of council space. The colony belonged to the Drellin, a species so minor that they did not even have a council representative. They had sent desperate messages to the council begging for help. Those messages had been filed as low priority for 3 months. The human ship arrived in 6 hours. Captain Jennifer Park met with the Drellin governor in the hospital where thousands lay dying. We intercepted your distress call. We can help. The governor, an elderly Drellin named Moxine, looked at her with desperate hope. The council said they would send medical supplies in 2 months. We will all be dead by then. We know, Jennifer said. That is why we came. Our medical technology can cure this plague. We can have treatment facilities set up in 24 hours. But I need your permission. This will create complications with the council. They left us to die, Moxon said bitterly. Why should I care about their complications? Save my people. The human medical team went to work. Their technology seemed like magic to the Drellin. Nanomachines that hunted down the plague organisms. Gene therapy that repaired damaged tissue. Within 48 hours, the death rate dropped to 0. Within a week, people were recovering. Similar scenes played out across dozens of worlds. Human ships appeared wherever council authority was weak or absent, offering help to those who needed it, trading with isolated colonies, providing disaster relief after natural catastrophes, building infrastructure on underdeveloped worlds. They did not ask for payment. They did not demand loyalty. They simply helped and then moved on. But they left behind something more valuable than gratitude. They left behind proof that the Council could be challenged, that there were alternatives to the old ways. The military faction noticed these actions. "See," Krell said to his fellow commanders, "the humans are trying to undermine our authority. They offer gifts to turn our member species against us. Or, Torvin suggested, they are showing those species what they could have if they side with humanity when war comes. They are building alliances. Then we must act before those alliances solidify," Krell decided. "We launch our assault in 3 days. Assemble the fleet at the staging coordinates. This time we will not underestimate them." Admiral Chen watched the military preparations from her command ship. Her AI advisors provided constant updates. The militarist faction is gathering 2,000 ships at Sector 447. Analysis suggests they will attack within 72 hours. "Probability of diplomatic resolution?" Chen asked. 11% and falling. The Council is too divided. The militarists believe they can win through numbers. The compromisers believe we can be negotiated with. The acceptors are too small a faction to influence the final decision. Chen nodded slowly. She had hoped for better but had planned for worse. "Status of our fleet? All 10,000 ships are ready. Fleet commanders Rivera, Park, and Okonkwo report their battle groups are in position. The dimensional portals are stable. The construction facilities have increased production to 150 ships per month. And our message? Broadcasting on all frequencies in all Council languages. It has been received by every species." The message Chen had sent was simple but powerful. It showed human vessels helping Council species that the Council had abandoned. It showed sick children healed, starving colonies fed, and dying worlds restored. And it asked one question: what kind of galaxy do you want to live in? On 1,000 worlds, people watched that message and wondered, what kind of galaxy did they want? One where might made right? Or one where the strong helped the weak? The 7 days ended. The diplomatic deadline passed. And 2 fleets faced each other across the void of space. On one side, 2,000 Council warships representing 12 species and centuries of military tradition. On the other side, 10,000 human vessels representing a unified species and technology that seemed impossible. Behind the human fleet, space rippled and shimmered. The dimensional portals opened, revealing the construction facilities. And coming through those portals were more ships. Hundreds more. Thousands more. General Krell, standing on his bridge and facing the human fleet, felt his heart sink. "Get me a count. Sir, we are detecting—" For 3 minutes, that felt like 3 hours. General Krell stared at the human fleet. His tactical officers waited for the order to attack. His weapons were armed and ready. 2,000 ships looked to him for leadership. But Chen's question echoed in his mind. What happens after we lose? He had spent 50 years in military service. He had won battles against pirates, rebels, and hostile species. But he had never fought a battle he knew he could not win. To attack now would not be courage. It would be suicide. Commander Vath spoke quietly beside him. "Sir, the fleet awaits your orders." Krell closed his eyes. He thought about Vrexian honor, about military tradition, about the Council that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. Then he thought about the young warriors on his ship who trusted him with their lives, and he made his choice. "Stand down weapons," he said. Vath's eyes widened. "Sir?" "You heard me, Commander. Stand down weapons. Open a channel to all ships. Tell them we are returning to Council space. This battle is over before it begins." "But General, the Council sent us here to enforce their will through strength," Krell interrupted. But the Council was wrong. Admiral Chen is right. We would lose, and losing achieves nothing except death. I will not waste Vrexian lives on a battle that cannot be won. He turned to face the view screen where Chen's image waited. "Admiral, I am withdrawing my fleet. But this matter is not settled. The Council must still decide how to respond to your demands." Chen nodded with respect. "I understand, General. And I respect your decision more than you know. It takes more courage to choose peace than war." As the Vrexian fleet began to turn away, something unexpected happened. A single ship broke formation. Then another. Then 10 more. These were not Vrexian vessels. They were ships from the smaller species, the ones who had always served under Council command but never had real authority. One of those ships, a modest cruiser from the Drellin species, broadcast a message. "Admiral Chen, this is Captain Yolix of the Drellin Star Guard. We are breaking from the Council fleet. With your permission, we request permission to join humanity at the diplomatic negotiations. Chen smiled. Permission granted, Captain. You are welcome. More ships followed. Within an hour, 200 vessels had separated from the Council fleet. They represented 15 different species, all of them minor members of the Council who had suffered under the old system. They positioned themselves between the human fleet and the departing Council forces, a symbolic statement of where their loyalties now lay. General Krell watched this happen and understood. The Council was not just losing a battle, it was losing its legitimacy. Species were choosing humanity over the established order. Everything was changing. On a neutral station called Accord, which humanity had constructed specifically for these negotiations, the real work began. The station was beautiful, designed to incorporate architectural elements from all known species. Phyrexian angles mixed with Elysian curves, Drellin natural materials blended with Cassiri crystal formations. It was a symbol of what cooperation could achieve. Speaker Morath was the first Council representative to arrive. Her shuttle docked, and she walked through corridors that felt both alien and familiar. Admiral Chen met her at the entrance to the main conference room. "Welcome, Speaker," Chen said, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting. Morath studied the hand for a moment, then reached out and clasped it. "You have caused quite a disruption, Admiral. Change is always disruptive. But is this not better than war?" "Perhaps," Morath said. "But now comes the hard part. Words, not weapons. Can we truly build something new here? I believe we can. Come. There are others waiting to meet you." The conference room was enormous, with seating arranged in a circle rather than the traditional Council hierarchy. No species sat above another. Everyone was equal here. Already present were representatives from 20 species, including the Drellin who had broken formation during the standoff. Over the next 3 days, more arrivals came. Not everyone came willingly. Ambassador Thelvix arrived with visible reluctance, his crystalline skin showing patterns of distrust. But he came, because not coming would mean being left out of decisions that would shape the galaxy's future. Even the militarists eventually sent representatives, though General Krell himself refused to attend. "I am a warrior, not a diplomat," he told his superiors. "Send someone who knows how to talk." The negotiations were difficult. Decades of tradition and power structures did not change easily. There were arguments, walkouts, threats to leave. But slowly, painfully, progress was made. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Representative Pip, the tiny Quellin who had always been overlooked in Council sessions, stood up during a particularly heated argument. Her small voice somehow carried across the entire room. "Stop," she said. "Just stop and listen to yourselves. We are arguing about power and authority, and who gets to control whom. But that is not what matters. What matters is what the humans showed us. They helped the Drellin when we would not. They offered medical technology when we let species die. They built the station where we are all equals. Is that not what a council should be? A place where we help each other rather than rule each other?" Silence fell. Then Speaker Morath stood. "The Quellin representative speaks wisdom beyond her size. Let us refocus. We are not here to preserve the old council. We are here to build something better." That moment changed everything. The negotiations shifted from who would surrender what to what they could build together. And slowly a new vision emerged. The reformed Galactic Federation, as it came to be called, was structured completely differently from the old council. Every species had one vote regardless of size or age. Decisions required majority approval, not the consensus of the oldest members. A rotating presidency ensured no single species dominated. Most importantly, the Federation's purpose changed. Instead of maintaining order through control, it would facilitate cooperation through choice. Species could join or leave freely. They would share technologies, coordinate exploration, and help each other during crises, but they would also retain their sovereignty and their freedom. The humans, for their part, agreed to share their revolutionary technologies. Medical advances that could cure diseases thought incurable, terraforming methods that could transform barren rocks into garden worlds, energy systems that made scarcity obsolete, and most precious of all, the process by which they had merged human and artificial intelligence. "We are not asking you to become like us," Admiral Chen explained during one session. "Each species should follow their own path. But we want to share what we learned. Maybe it will help you discover your own breakthroughs. Not everyone accepted the new order immediately. The Vrexian Empire withdrew from the Federation for a full year, maintaining independence. The Kasiri sovereignty refused to attend any sessions. But they did not go to war either. And slowly, as they watched other species benefit from cooperation with humanity, even the holdouts began to reconsider. 2 years after the standoff in space, the first joint Federation project launched. A massive exploration fleet, composed of ships from 15 different species, including humanity, set out to map unknown regions of the galaxy. Human ships with their advanced sensors worked alongside Drellan navigation experts and Elysian diplomats. When they encountered new species, they approached peacefully, offering friendship rather than demanding submission. Speaker Morath, in her final address before retiring, spoke about what had changed. For 3,000 years, the Council maintained peace through authority. We decided who could join, who could trade, where species could expand. We thought this was wisdom. We thought this was necessary. The humans showed us it was fear. Fear that if we did not control others, chaos would result. But chaos did not come. Instead, cooperation flourished. Species helping species, not because they must, but because they choose to. Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of Accord Station, watching ships come and go. Human vessels, Drellan cruisers, even Vrexian warships that had finally agreed to join Federation operations. 5 years ago, this would have been impossible. Now it was normal. Captain Marcus Rivera joined her, his expression thoughtful. Do you think it will last? This peace we have built? Chen considered the question. Nothing lasts forever. There will be challenges, new conflicts, species who try to abuse the system. But yes, I think it will last. Because we built it on choice rather than force. Because we made partnership more attractive than domination. The old council would have forced us to submit. Yes, and we would have resisted. And there would have been war. And in the end, everyone would have lost something precious. She turned to face him. This way is better. Harder, but better. Below them, in the station's conference center, a session was underway. Young diplomats from dozens of species learned negotiation techniques. Scientists from different worlds collaborated on research projects. Military officers planned joint defense operations against pirates and natural disasters. This was what they had fought for. Not dominance, not submission, partnership, cooperation. A galaxy where strength was used to help rather than control. Where ancient species and young species worked side by side as equals. Thank you for watching and comment for next part.